Popping, get it cracking, get it smacking.
Smacking?
Cadillacking. There's only a matter of time for someone says
Give me one more.
Blacking.
Oh.
Blackened chicken.
Moote
Like a
point,
salad.
an issue which
Let's
no
just start.
satisfactory answer is found.
This is all a moot point.
The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf! Ma, the meatloaf!
Like a cow's opinion.
I've had it with this dump! Got no food, got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
This is all a moot point. Doesn't matter.
Hello, everyone, and
what are you
welcome
drinking
to the
over there?
Moot Points Podcast.
What are you putting away in that little mason jar over there?
They like to call that hooch, Brian.
Hooch. Did you make it in the house?
Sure did.
Wow.
I know. I just put a bottle of something under the sink. I left it there, and now it tastes like alcohol.
Just fermented garbage? Mm-hmm. Whoa, that's like recycling.
Yeah, that's right.
Good for you.
I know. Good for me.
You're such a hip, modern day, I wouldn't say hipster, but not a hipster. You're more of a Renaissance man making your own moonshine under the sink in your bathroom.
Sink shine.
All right, well, cool.
It
Looks
also
good.
cleans the sink quite well.
You scrub
Be
it?
surprised? Yes. It's got burns the rust right off.
Well, it's good. I could use a shot right now, but I don't think I'm allowed to drink, right?
Nope.
At all?
I don't think so.
They're not supposed to. It's not
No.
good for your stomach at all.
Yeah.
I'm getting my colonoscopy tomorrow.
Woo woo.
Pre-colonoscopy podcast. And I haven't eaten since last night. I had a Dodger dog, and I ordered some soup broth.
I
when
mean,
got
you might
home.
end up with a polyp just from the Dodger
Dodger dog?
Yeah, they're not that's
It was a pretty good Dodger dog, man. I think the Dodger
Dodger
dogs
are
pretty
good. It's just hot dogs in general are a very bad combination of preserved meats, mystery meats, and cured meats,
Okay.
which are
Well,
all
yeah,
bad
no one
for
knows
the
what the hell
colon
those
cancer
things are.
thing. Hey, boss,
Why do you do this every
why?
time we do
Every time. You've been sleeping for the last 19 hours.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why are you doing that? Why are you digging in a bed?
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Just lay
You know,
down.
I know what he's doing. He's making it more comfortable.
He
He's
has
like-
to, it's amazing though.
It's like,
'cause
this is bullshit.
he'll just be sitting there
rah,
sleeping, and then
rah,
as
you
soon
know,
as we
get in
start
there.
talking, he's like, "Yep, my turn. I want to
Yep.
be on the show."
He's on the podcast.
I'm gonna rustle around in the blankets for a little
He is
while.
just digging into these blankets.
This is
like
the
an asshole.
only activity he gets during the day is rustling up the blankets so he can get it.
I mean, I take him for walks, but he usually just lays there and I drag him by the neck.
I'm too tired for this nonsense.
Brian's
Bosworth,
tired and hungry.
Pipe it down.
He's getting hangry.
I'm not hangry. I don't get hangry. I'm getting tired. I'm getting like really tired, where I just feel exhausted. I feel out of energy. I just crushed 120 calories of ramen soup broth, chicken flavor.
I mean, listen. So first of all, I want to start out by saying, Brian, brother, I love you and I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
for
we'll
doing
see
this
about it.
colonoscopy.
I mean, I may be sitting here going ignorance is bliss on Thursday, but as of today, I'm very happy. Good. Let's go find out what's up in that colon.
Yeah.
Let's go poke around in there. Give the tires a kick.
Do you have any symptoms that make you concerned?
I mean, not particularly, but I mean, how could anybody not be concerned about their colon if they have a weekend of drinking? You know what I mean?
And a brother who had stage 3 colon
right.
cancer.
And so there are some issues of concern, but I don't think it's any more so than people who, you go on a little bit of a bender at Coachella weekend, and then you let's just say your stomach isn't firing on all cylinders. It's not like you roll into that thing thinking going like, oh, epitome of health right now. I can't imagine. Now I'm just kind of more concerned. I got a lot of concerns. One, I feel like tomorrow I got to take a shower for like 45 minutes and just scrub my butt. You know what I
Why?
mean? I don't know. Do they look at your butt?
like in the morning? Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to be unpresentable.
You're asleep for it. So I think what they do is they roll you onto your side and they just kind of slip this thing up your butt. Like, I don't think
They juice it up though? Do they put lube on it or something?
I'd hope so.
Well, you don't know
I don't want
any
them
of these
jamming
answers?
the camera. I was asleep. I don't want them jamming
How
the
big
camera
is
up
the
there
camera?
dry. I don't know. Do you want me to Google it right now?
The size of I believe I heard him say it was the size of a pen, like a pen top.
That's probably about right. You know what it also can do while it's in there though is you can laser out the polyps.
out, yeah.
It can also
Search and destroy.
it blows air in there to like puff it up a little bit. It also can leave an ink injection in the colon wall, so that like when they found my tumor, they left an ink injection next to it, so that the next doctor who went up there,
They marked it. X marks the spot.
They gave
it's
it
like a treasure map.
Yep.
The colon treasure map. Here, guys, I did a little work for you. You don't have to go cut out the wrong section of colon.
Yeah.
Though you had one doctor just want to remove the whole thing. That's probably because he didn't want to go find it.
I mean, it would be a lot easier that way, I'm sure.
Nah, I don't
take
think
out the
so
whole
for
colon.
you. I think for them, maybe.
Well, because already just missing a third of my colon, I can tell the difference in like my bowel habits or movements, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the way they feel.
Like, what do you mean?
It just feels
Elaborate, please.
It's like, it's not like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's the familiar feeling when I have to poop.
Oh.
It's more like
IBS situation? Like, I gotta go
no,
now?
it's more like a weird like pain. I get like a weird pain, like a
But do you think
twinge.
that's because you're not completely healed up in that area?
It's
You think
almost
there's
been
some,
a
like,
year, but they
tender,
also won't.
tender tissue?
Maybe, but I don't think at this point it's tender anymore. I mean, that was almost a year ago.
Yeah, I guess, but it is like a muscly type contracting and sucks water out.
I mean,
of,
and it could just be that I think that part of the part of the colon they took out was the very end of my colon. So I think there was like something like maybe some pain, like some nerves in there that were taken out. So now it's just like, it feels like someone's tugging on
So
a
you're
rope
just
that they
missing-
put up my butt the night before.
So
And it's like, ooh, tug.
well,
tug.
okay. So the entire colon can't have the nerve endings that would like, because your colon at the end is like going to tell you like, hey, yo, we're ready to go now.
Yeah.
But I feel like what they did is
There's
they,
also the
they went to,
rectum
like a
and the
mid-sec-
bowel, or like
Sure.
but yeah, the end of the colon's pretty much
It's got to be more sensitive than the one in the middle, than
Yeah.
the nerves in the middle.
Yeah, sure. That's kind of, I think, why it feels like that, because it took out that part that gave you the sensation of like, oh, because also they don't feel as good as they used to.
See, so they took out the
Like
nerve.
a giant, like taking a big poop, and you walk out of the bathroom just like, oh baby, I feel good.
I don't know if that's exactly
That's
anything
how
I've ever done.
To put it on the poll.
Oh, baby.
Yes. I mean, you're not
No one
saying
said
it out
that.
loud. You're saying it inside. You're like, oh
Internally?
my God. Yeah, because you're like, man, that was a lot of like poop that was in me, and it's not in me.
I always just feel lighter. Like,
You don't feel like
oh, look at
incredible?
that. No, I don't think so. I have to pay attention next time.
I
But
used
usually
to.
anytime you're like, whoof, it was like you were about to have an emergency situation and you feel like you just dodged a bullet. So there's that. My point is that I get nervous. Like when I had to get a Brazilian wax in Atlanta on the Burt show, I was always a little bit terrified that they would pass some judgment on like what my butt looked like. Like I know they're doctors, but I still want to, I want to make sure that's nice and presentable.
So I have been seeing a doctor for 8 years for hemorrhoids, and that's like, man, I've gone in there really in rough shape.
What
And they don't really.
What
and
does that
all they
even
do
mean?
is- So they just
They put a welder's mask on and
I
make
mean,
sure
it was
nothing
like,
fires
oh
off
my
at you.
God, like that thing's almost like sutured shut with just like dingleberries
It just
and
looks like
butt hair.
like a wound.
It looks like a thicket.
Look, I almost so the thicket thing. I don't range with a lot of hair in that region. I had it Brazilianed out once, so it didn't come back with the same fury, the same fire and fury. But I did debate on going to getting a Brazilian just because I didn't want, like, I wanted to make sure that it was like that I wanted to walk away from this. I wanted the doctor to walk away from the situation going, that was quite pleasant.
I think
Someone takes care of themselves.
See, I think with doctors though, like, or they
Now, let alone that they may stumble into cancer on the inside.
Did you see that idiot's like who waxed his butt? Like, what a freak! What a weirdo!
No, I feel like every doctor would appreciate a nice waxed butt when they do the colonoscopy.
I don't know. I think it's probably like cleaning your toilet. You get in, you get out. You don't look at anything too hard. I mean, it's still a butt. It's like where poop comes from.
Let's not act like
their
all butts are made equal.
I don't
We've
know
seen some butts in some precarious situations. If you have the internet, you've seen the butts doing some precarious things, and let's not pretend that some butts aren't a war zone and some butts are. I mean, that is the case.
I've never really been. I think doctors see it like this. There's like normal butthole, which
Yeah.
is like 70%.
Healthy.
Yes, healthy
Healthy.
and like fairly well kept, and not like you
Doesn't
don't
look
have
like
poop
there's-
everywhere all over your butt, like smeared
Right.
everywhere. Like
Doesn't
you're
look
not
like
an old geriatric weirdo.
Doesn't look like anything's like skins coming out of it or anything.
no.
Or,
So I would say
All right.
that most likely, as long as your butt hole isn't some sort of disaster zone, they're just going to be like, oh,
that's
look,
what I'm trying to avoid. Trying to
butthole.
avoid that situation.
But is that a concern of yours usually? Like, what? Why are you so
if
worried
somebody
about?
had to go inspect it, yeah, I'm telling you, when I
you just want it to be pristine, or you just
Yes.
want it to look well kept?
well kept. Even I look.
Because getting it waxed is pristine. Like if you have no hair and no poop, they're gonna be or get it bleached. They're gonna be like, "What is wrong with this guy?"
No, I think they'd appreciate
this
that.
guy.
It's like a nice, clean. It's like anything. It's like when you walk into a hotel room and the bed's all nice and made. You're like, "Oh, look at that. That's nice." If you walk into a hotel room, you're like, "Oh my God, was there a murder in here?" I mean, it's just you pass judgment.
No, see, that's like showing like a murder scene to like a forensic detective. They don't really care. It's like the same thing. It could be bloody and nasty, and it's just another murder scene. See, what I would be worried about is them seeing your well-kept butthole and being like, man, this guy's way too worried about people seeing his butthole, thinking that you're showing it to a bunch of other people too.
Well, I don't really care if they think I've shown it to other people. I wouldn't
want to wake up and then be like,
what? I would say that I think that what did you hit the stop button?
Nope, didn't. We're still
I know
going.
why you got panicked, and I'm like, I'm looking at it. It's
because
still
all I
recording.
do is if I lean over, I hit that stupid spacebar.
It's almost like you didn't know where all the equipment was. No, I'm saying that I would say the only reason that I erred against getting waxed, because I was like, I don't really want to get a full wax, but I was thinking about the Brazilian, the just getting the butt part. But then I thought to myself, this feels like when you're going to the dentist and you floss like
Double hard.
15 minutes, you know what I mean? You floss forever thinking that they're going to be like, oh, this guy flosses all the time. That's crazy. So then I was like, well, don't worry about it. Just shower up, feel nice.
Just like shove some like flower petals up there and like...
Yeah, throw a little bit of, maybe a couple spritzes of cologne.
I give it an extra hard wipe and then get over there.
An extra hard one. You don't want to irritate anything down
Really
there.
rip.
Somebody told me to get.
You don't want to irritate anything down there? You're talking about getting Brazilian on your butthole. Like that
Yeah,
might,
no,
they
no,
might
no.
look at it and wake you up like 30 minutes later and be like, hey, we couldn't actually do it.
The window
because there was
closed.
all these little cuts all over your
No.
anus. And
The
so we
window
had to-
on the wax closed. I'm telling you, I thought about doing it this past weekend. That's what I thought about doing it. But then I thought that was ridiculous, and I didn't enjoy the process the first time I did get a Brazilian. I'm overthinking this process,
Yeah,
this
you
part
are.
of it clearly. I just don't want to be. I don't want to wake up and be like, guys, how to look down there.
They've like tagged you on their Instagram story and they're like, look at this mess. Oh, God.
No, I want them to tag me
Sick.
the other direction. Look at this beautifully well kept undercarriage.
No, I know this is
beautiful.
bad bedside manner.
I'm not supposed to post these
that
photos,
mood-
but I have a feeling you'd be okay with it given all the effort he went through to clean this
That
place
mood
up.
comedy has one fine butthole.
Yeah, I don't
That's
care.
This same doctor that you're going to see,
Dr. Tabib.
yes, I think he was so fascinated by my situation that he took so many pictures that the next gastroenterologist I went to looked at it and was just like amazed. He's like, I've never seen
Am I going to get pictures?
this many pictures of a colon. Yeah. We should get them made into headshots.
Yeah, probably not. Isn't it gross? Doesn't it just look like a sea creature? Like a
It looks like you're inside a sea creature, yeah.
like
a
a-
sea
like an
slug.
urchin or something.
Yeah, right. Eel.
Well, that happens tomorrow, guys. 11:15. I'm taking tonight. I'm not really pumped about this part of it. I'm taking the super bowel colon flush. I'll fill you guys in on Thursday about how much fun that is.
Yeah, we'll follow up.
And I'm so tired right now that my eyes are having trouble staying open.
Well,
Like,
you
they
also
just
get
feel
up
heavy.
at 4 in the
But
morning.
I also took a nap for an hour today when I got home.
Yeah, it does. I did a juice cleanse last week and didn't eat for 3 days,
Yeah.
basically. And you stop getting hungry after a while, but that first day, you're
Now I just
zapped.
feel famished. I feel tired. I feel like if you just pushed me off this stool, that's just wherever I landed is where I was going to lay.
Maybe I will.
Well, don't do that. I got to do my colonoscopy tomorrow. So Pat's going to pick me up. He's also going to record any audio, any silly things I say. I'll probably talk about, based on what I'm concerned about right now, my pristine or not pristine, but I'm probably going
You
to...
should ask him when you get done, when you're all fucked up. Just be like, hey, man, on
How
a
to
scale
look.
of 1 to 10, how clean was my butthole?
I mean, I thought about looking at it with a mirror like a prison inmate today. To just, get a heads up to see what it was all about down there.
Do prison inmates look at their buttholes?
No,
like
but they
that?
look outside the bars with the mirror like that. You're not very good at imagining things.
I mean, I imagined a guy looking at his butthole in prison and being like, oh, they do really.
I'm
did some
pretty
damage
sure that
down
they
there.
do every once in a while.
I love this. Go from
right.
buttholes and prison right
To
into
marriage. Well, you know what? I felt like there's no better way to transition than me with the joke about looking at my butt like a prison inmate, but then you wanted to have a further line of questioning about prison inmates and butt mirrors. So I thought, what a better time to switch it on over to Patrick's first time being the official for a wedding for my cousin Aaron and new cousin Ryan.
Yup, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to fucking rage, man.
but-
So put on your weird sparkly glasses and get your Tubi.
He's running out of options.
I can't remember what I was gonna say. I'm gonna blame chemo brain on that.
No, I wanted to ask you questions about it.
Glow stick. That's to be glow stick.
I didn't hear one word you said on the beach.
What?
No, because the wedding was on the beach in Malibu. I did not hear one word because I think I was upwind and I think the sound was being blown downwind. And I think that you were keeping the volume pretty low.
Well, right before we started, the microphone wasn't working. Like and they only had one speaker for the PA, really. And it was like in the back. It would have been left corner from your left. It would have been the back left corner. So that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me.
No,
Killian said that you said that I went a little long.
That's not what I said.
Oh, wow.
Why is everybody blaming me? You know what? People blame me for their comments. I didn't even make a comment about it. I didn't say you went long. I mean,
it would sound long if you couldn't hear what I was saying. It's like, man.
I was looking at I was taking pictures and stuff. No, the thing is that you were told to go short. So if I said anything, it was like sarcastically, like you went long because Aaron and Ryan told you to do like 90 seconds.
They gave me zero direction. But so the thing was so they asked me if I would officiate the wedding, and I was like, yeah, sweet. And then they, like, 2 weeks out, I was like, hey, like, how do you guys want me to do this exactly? Like, what do you want me to say? Is there any, like, religious stuff or any family stuff, any stories, any songs, any readings,
They're like, we don't
anything?
know.
They were like, nothing. We don't care.
We don't.
And I was like, okay. And they were like, oh, and by the way, we're going to do our vows in private. I was like, God,
is that a thing?
That was going to be half my set.
Yeah, but is that a thing though? Vows in private?
It's a new thing, I guess.
Why? Just because like then why are we even having?
Because it's not
part
for everybody else. It's
then why are we having?
I
don't understand that.
There's plenty of people who asked me when they were like, because they were like asking me about the whole thing beforehand, and I was like, well, they're going to do their vows in private, and they're like, what? What do you mean they're going to do their vows?
It just seems unnecessary to even have the ceremony then. Just
well,
go to your
no,
vows in
because
private
really,
and then
like you
do knuckle daps on the beach in front of you, and then we're good to go. Let's go hit the bar.
I mean, that's kind of what I think they wanted to do. But then we went to the rehearsal, and his parents were like, okay, so how much, or the wedding planner was like, so how much time do you think you're doing, do you think? And I was like, I don't know, like about 5 minutes. And his parents were like, what? You can't do 5 minutes. I was like, I don't know, too short, too long. I don't really know. I have no frame of reference.
I've never done this. This isn't my...
Never done this. I've never been married.
It's a free gig here, yo.
I tune this part out of marriages when I go to them, so I never really know. This is the boring shit.
Well, the thing is
like,
that...
This is the stuff I don't like.
It only is impactful if you're going to make some sort of like really meaningful statement about love, but generally that comes from someone who comes from a position of understanding love and marriage, which you don't.
I have a fear of commitment.
Right.
I have a fear of commitment. I've never even lived with anyone.
Your fear of commitment hot 5, probably not for that ceremony. And so it's usually done by somebody who you know, what they say is something that the words are like not memorized, but remembered forever by people in the room and the bride and groom. You're talking to the bride and groom. So for you, it's just kind of like, hey, you know, like I've known you forever. Ryan, you're cool. We're so glad to have you in the family. You guys are super happy. I don't really know what else you guys want me to say specifically. I'm glad to be here. This beach is very nice. Let's go eat.
Yeah, that was kind of the gist of it. Like I broke it down into like an introduction and then talk about Aaron, talk about Ryan, talk about both of them.
Yeah.
Talk about both of them again. And then get them married. So I looked it up, and basically what I needed to do, and I kind of split.
I can't remember. Did they have other people come up and speak too, or no?
No. Just
no,
me.
that was just the speeches afterwards.
Yeah, that was just speeches afterwards, which those are really hard to hear.
Those were, but here's the thing. This drives me absolutely crazy from both the people in the room and the people speaking. So the microphone doesn't work, and then the people giving the toast are like, okay, I'll just do it without it. And then they don't adjust their volume either. They just start talking to the bride and groom, which is fine. But then you got people in the back who are like, hey, we can't hear you.
I know.
And it's like, okay, look, idiots, there's no microphone. So clearly you're not going to hear it as well. You're not going to hear them. And also, why'd you show up late? Now you're in the back. But two, if you're the person, I'm going to say guy because I felt like the guys struggled with this more than the women did, is you're also, the toasts don't just go to the bride and groom. The toasts are part of the experience for everybody. They could be funny stories. So if you're not going to have a microphone, which is, you know, whatever, the mic wasn't working, and then I think eventually it did or something, I don't know. But you still got to project a little bit. You got to put in a little bit of effort. So I feel like for the first guy who was all nervous and the mic didn't work, He just literally stopped trying to let anyone else hear what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
I mean, but you got to put in some effort there. That's the whole. I mean, the whole thing about.
Well,
the
but
wedding's
here's
gotta
the
be a
thing: it's like
production.
most people don't know how microphones work.
But
And
I
how
feel like
like
that's
being
ridiculous.
heard works. No, it's not ridiculous, Brian.
I know,
It
I know.
really isn't. It
But
would be like
isn't it
you like
common
sitting
sense?
down behind a dump truck and a dump truck driver being like, "You don't even know how to dump the bed."
No, that's not true. It'd be me sitting in a dump truck going like, "What is this thing? How does go? Where? What is this thing built for? How does like? I have a general understanding of how it works. And if you handed me a dump truck lever, I'd go, oh, there we go. I'm dumping trash. I wouldn't then go, I can't figure out how to dump the trash. I'm not
Well,
even
if
try.
they just sat you in a dump truck and were like, "Dump the back," you probably would take a minute to figure out which lever was the dump.
But
lever.
I'd understand.
Well,
that I
they
either
understand
have to
how a
go-
microphone works, but they don't.
Well, they clearly
like,
don't.
But they don't understand like that people can't hear them.
I'm finding
Like,
ways to take your analogy now.
No, it's not.
Because then what
It's-
I'd have to, it'd be like if I then didn't get in the back of the dump truck with a shovel and then start unloading it manually.
I
Like,
mean, that's kind of like what it is to set the microphone down, and then you
but
know, it's like
my
this is
point
not
is,
the right way to do
when
this.
you
You're
make the
doing it
decision
wrong.
to set the microphone down, you got to then be like, okay, man, you got to own the room. You got to turn. You got to like
See,
yell.
but if you
both
said "own the
directions.
room" to people who aren't comedians or actors, or they wouldn't know what that means. They'd be like, "Own the room? How? What do you mean?"
well, don't bottle up and get all fidgety. Is that Jackson running a vacuum? Boy, this is going well
Potentially.
today. This is great. Well, I thought you did a good job. I thought the wedding was beautiful.
Yeah.
I just it's one of those things that I
got
just
a 10
never
out of 10.
I'd never heard of people doing their vows in private. I feel like that's kind of the whole part of
I
the thing.
said that too, and Aaron said it's like a thing that people are doing now. And then I told other people, and they're
Millennials,
like,
man.
I know because
Millennials
it's not,
don't wanna be
listen,
on stage.
No, they don't.
They don't want to be they don't want to be like
They were both just like, we don't want to say anything except I do, and I made him say. So I made him do the I do thing and repeat the "with this ring I thee wed" because I didn't know which one
right.
makes it official.
And you
so I
may
just-
kiss the bride and all that.
Yeah, and I
jazz.
had him run down all of it. I had him do it all.
I mean, you did a good job. I feel like everyone held it together. How did the after party go? So I bailed on the after party because I had to go run the SDCCU OC marathon, half marathon, with a hangover and no training, and that was real awful. By myself, mind you, because everybody bailed on me.
Well, listen, I didn't necessarily bail. Like,
No, you did.
I bailed, but also we had the wedding going on.
I know.
You would have bailed on it too if you weren't being paid for it.
Nah, I wouldn't have bailed.
Yes, you
I
would've.
can't bail on that, even if I'm not getting paid for it. It's our studio sponsor on Amp Radio, and I'd committed to it for 6 months. So there's no way that I could just at the last second be like, hey, my cousin's getting married. I can't run in the marathon, when they had been planning on it for 6 months, and they have such a vested interest in, we built up that story about you running the half marathon and then finding out you had colon cancer.
Yeah, but
see how we're coming
okay,
full
first
circle
of all,
here.
if they want to sponsor me, they totally can, and then I would have had a reason to be there. But
Yeah.
if we're going there for no money just so that you guys have radio content is zero upside for me.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that-
you know what? You could have helped me out, man.
Well, but I'm always doing
All right,
stuff for
then-
you. I
then
gave
the
you guys
after
a whole
party-
storyline for like a year to talk
after
about, and I
party-
got dick out of it.
Oh, sounds sad right now.
So I'm not sponsoring your radio
You bet.
station.
Then the after party better been fun. Tell me some stories.
It was fun. There was, what is all that?
Just clutter.
Just
Just
clutter
nobody
sounds.
respecting the fact that we're doing something.
So
Probably neighbors trying to figure out how a dump
helicopters
truck
flying
works.
around. It was fun. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get out of there, so I was trying to leave, and then Ryan, the husband,
That
caught
guy
me.
parties, though.
He comes. He does. They part. That
I
whole
mean, he
group.
threw an EDM festival in
Parties.
Mexico like 2 weeks before that.
They got
right?
back the Wednesday before they got married on a Saturday.
He has an EDM
Wednesday
festival
night.
that he created. What's it called? Do you know what it's called?
Raw.
Raw. That's such,
RAH.
that's such
Like
a
the god of sun.
That's such an EDM festival name.
Raw. You thought it was RAW.
Fest.
It would work either way, to be completely
It's
honest.
raw. Electro.
But it was actually fun because all of our, like, Carrie and Norman made it out, so Ari and Uncle made it out. There was Aaron's dad, Rob, was there. Killing, Kevin, bunch of cousins.
Yeah, family people.
Yeah, family. So, but it was fun.
What would you name your EDM festival? It's got to be something that just like stands alone, makes no sense at all, but intrigues, like Fire Fest.
It would-
like what the hell does that mean? Mine would be
Fluorescent spectacles.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I know.
I like kind of like neon monocle.
Oh, man.
Like that's a kind of a hybrid of yours.
What about dork goggles?
Dork got no, because dork like
Won't work?
no. How you named it like Torque Rally. Like, what is torque?
Oh, Torque. Torque
It's
Rally.
too close to like twerk. That could be a good
but
hip-hop.
Torque Rally also sounds like it could be
Torque,
like a
like a-
motorcycle festival.
So, I mean, that's kind of the, it's the intrigue about it. Raw.
Raw.
I like it.
It's Ra, the sun god, though, so it's more like Raw.
Raw, dude.
Raw.
Get out here. And it's like
Raw.
3 days in Mexico, right? Is it 3 days?
Something like that.
Was
I was supposed to go, but I didn't have a passport, and my doctor was like, probably not a good
You
idea,
didn't have a
man.
passport?
I just don't. Brian, I
Have
don't
you
have
never had a passport?
No, I have a passport.
You just don't know where it is.
No, it's just
Expired?
Expired, yeah.
That's funny. Why are you acting like y'all the defensive? I'm just saying.
Well, because we've gone out of the country together.
Yeah, so I don't understand how you got back if you didn't have a passport.
Well, it was just years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, then no, it's
just an expired passport.
Way years ago, like 15 years ago.
I don't have a good passport.
You haven't gone to, but you can go to Mexico without a passport, can't you? Or no?
Cannot.
Is that a thing that?
Not since Trump started talking about building a fucking wall.
I
Now we
feel
can't
like
just,
you
now we
can.
can't just skip across the border.
I feel
we
like
used to.
you can as a super white person.
I mean, yeah.
I think you're allowed. I think that they're pretty arbitrary about that. I watched No Country for Old Men, and they let him across the border.
Yeah, but that was
and he
like-
was
the movie takes place in, like,
bloody, and
84.
he was wearing hospital gowns.
All he needed to do to get across the border then was a beer and go, hey man.
Do you like No Country for Old Men?
Love
I'm
it.
switching topics here, so you can play some music if you like. Oh yeah, a little Kesha. You do?
I love it.
I don't know.
It's incredible.
What about the? I feel like they bailed on the ending. I don't get it. feel like
I
they
mean,
just
I can
kinda, like-
understand the. Well, because it's not about. It's not about. I haven't seen it in a minute, so I'm
So
trying
they
to. I'm
just
going
kind of-
through my head of what exactly.
Spoiler
happened at the
alert:
end.
they just all kind of die over money and kill each other, and then homeboy gets T-boned by a car and then wanders off with his bones sticking out, and then it just kind of ends.
I mean, the movie really is about bad decisions, like making a decision, like a threatening decision, and then the side effects of what comes along with that. So at the end, really, like he suffers the inevitable fate that he will because he made this bad decision. Everybody
Okay.
around it dies, and the guy who's basically chasing him is kind of like, so Javier Bardem's character is kind of more like the reaper of bad decisions. Like he continues to move on. He's pure evil. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah,
But
he's a menacing villain.
he's on to his next, who's, you know, because even like where it's like the guy who got the money stolen from him hires another hitman to go after him. He finds out that guy hired another hitman and then goes kills the guy that killed him or that hired him.
Is that Woody
He
Harrelson?
shoots him in the face with a shotgun. No, Woody Harrelson is the other hitman that he hired.
Man, this is so confusing.
It is.
I watched it the other night. I've seen it like
The
five
Coen,
times.
what
and
the
it just
Coen brothers
ends.
do is like it doesn't just end. It does have that kind of like I can see someone who, if you didn't understand it,
Oh, you
probably
calling me stupid?
I mean, the first time I saw it, I didn't really get it either. And then you watch it again, and then I read about it and like kind of figured out what it is that they were doing. It is kind of one of those things that could leave you an ending that could leave you feeling like, man, I'm an idiot because I don't get it, or
Right.
they're trying to be too fucking smart and it's annoying.
Yeah, like it bothers me. I don't know if the bad guy killed Llewellyn's wife. What's her face?
Oh yeah,
I mean, they just kind of she
I
refuses
love that
to
he
flip
flipped
the
the
coin.
coin. It's great.
I don't know.
She's like, I don't want to.
I don't like movies
coin.
that are trying to be too smart.
But she never really made. Yeah, I guess, you know, because he also is like, you know, evil, fate, whatever it is. Like, you know, when he's flipping the coin with people, like, that is how fate works.
50,
It's a flip,
dog.
50-50. It's a flip of a coin.
Speaking of gambling, let's talk about this horse race before we get out of here.
Should
Did
we
you
do-
lose money on it? I lost money. I lost $100.
I lost $24, but I should have won.
Right, because you had the winning horse.
I had it in a superfecta.
If you don't know the story, so this past weekend was the Kentucky Derby, Saturday. Saturday was the Kentucky Derby, and Maximum Security won the Kentucky Derby, but on this crazy muddy track, he veered out of his lane a little bit. The jockey corrected him, but there was contact, or he impeded the other horse's path of travel. But I feel like he just kind of boxed him out a little bit. That's what I'd do. But apparently that's a foul. It was contested, then overturned, and lots of people lost money. And then a 65-1 long shot won, which is cool for that horse. But I guess that horse isn't even going to run in the next race because it's sick or something. And probably got a horse cold. Can you get a horse cold from running in the mud?
I don't know, I guess. I remember when we had horses, they always had snot coming out of their noses.
Gross
Looked like
and
they were
stuff?
sick.
I kind of feel like it's almost I think it's ridiculous because it didn't seem like that crazy of contact or whatever. But then again, I don't really know the rules.
I think it's crazy because I would have won like $150 off of like a $25 bet.
$400. I would have won that. But I also think it's kind of wild that these are like baby animals. Like they're like they're not full grown. I mean, they're like physically big, but they're like stupid.
I've seen
tiny
this argument
animals.
from you on Twitter a couple times, or
I think they're
on.
No, it wasn't. It was on. I made it one time.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I just said, "Can you believe the one baby horse had the nerve to bump the other baby horse while they're running 38 miles an hour on a muddy track? Can you believe that happened?" I just think it's insane that we are even like. I mean, it's a minute little thing happened, but these things are 1.5 to 2 year old thoroughbreds running full steam around a track. The fact that you even get them to do that is crazy.
No, I know, and like it's kind of like the thing with like the NFL. They went through this period of time where they made so many rules that like people started getting turned off of the sport.
Right.
I'm not watching these things because of the awesome officiating.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's too many fucking rules. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're overthinking it. And now you've ruined it for everybody. So
Well, here's why they really ruined it this year is because horse racing to me is super boring unless you have a story to follow, right? It's like golf and Tiger Woods.
sure, like a Triple Crown. They need a Triple Crown.
It's like golf and
at least every year.
Tiger Woods, right? So like the Masters, like, okay, it's the Masters, whatever. If you're a big golf fan,
Kafka
fine.
wins. I'm not.
Yeah,
really
if you're a big golf fan, fine. But what brings in the average fan and just the rando and me, who is when Tiger's playing, interesting. That's a story that's interesting, or whatever. So the fact that like this horse that won now isn't even going to race in the Preakness, which and mind you, I'm not even a horse racing fan. I think it's kind of cruel. I'm a little conflicted on my opinions because I have had a lot of fun betting on horse racing, but I also realize that it's pretty brutal and kind of unfair to the horses. And especially the ones that lose and end up as like dog food and horse steaks in South Korea.
Here's my thing with it.
But then again, we also eat cows and pigs.
I was going to use the NFL as an example, but we kind of do the same thing to athletes from the NFL. When
but we don't eat them.
Their careers, we don't eat them.
We don't eat them, and we don't. I mean, I don't think, but they have free will to choose to be an athlete.
So,
the horses are just born into it.
I already was like, I like horse racing, and I've gone to a bunch of tracks.
Yeah, I've had fun when
I enjoy them. And I used to go to Hollywood Park all the time and watch the horse racing. I go to Santa Anita every once in a while, or in Los Alamitos. Like they're really cool. Like it's a fun experience when you go. Here's been my thing. I've been trying to go this year, but at Santa Anita in like Burbank, Glendale area, Los Angeles County, like 28 horses have died this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or like in the last calendar year or less than that. Like in the last 9 months, like 28 horses have died there. And they're saying it's from, I guess, like a combination of the weather conditions and like a bacteria that's been on the field that's been kind of like messing up the horses when they get injured.
Like a MRSA?
I've found it a lot to something. I don't know. Like they don't really know what it is. It's just a lot of horses. And I was trying to go. I told Jackson, my roommate, I was like, hey, we should go up and watch the ponies this weekend. Like that'd be really fun. He was like, yeah, sweet. And then he was like in the bathroom and was like Googling it. And he came out and he was like, I don't know if I can go see the horses, man. You know that like at this point it was only like 19, but he's like, 19 horses have died there in the last 4 months. And I was like, what?
Wow, that's crazy.
Are you kidding me? So I Googled it and I've been following it and a lot of horses have been dying and it's been harder for me, honestly, to want to get behind the sport just because it is like, man, this is a problem. Like this is a problem and I can't really support that. Then when I bet on the race and you call it back for rules I don't understand, I might be full out on horse racing. I'm sorry, but what are you doing? Like I'm already having to look past like my morality to root for
the animal cruelty.
Yeah, and now you're like making rules that make it so I lose money. Like I'm not into that.
That's funny too because it gets me on a wormhole of, okay, I was like exciting. I made a bet. My girlfriend loves horse racing just because she loves the spectacle
of the weekend.
It has nothing to do with the horse racing. She just loves the outfits and the silly hats and the like
little hats.
You could put
fun hats.
You know what you could do instead of actually having real horses? You could just get that carnival game where people got to fill up the water gun. You fill up something and the horses move. You usually like spray water at a target.
Sure, she would be equally
right. And just arbitrarily whatever, or it could be people racing. Who cares? But so the thing is that after it was over, I was like, the disqualification. Then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I read this article last week about what happens to the horses that don't win and they get sold off to South Korea a lot of times. And then they can become horse racing stars in South Korea because horse racing in South Korea is starting to become a thing. But then if the horse is any way, shape, or form not good there, then they just get sold to meat markets because slaughterhouses because they actually like eat the horse over there. And then I was like, that's kind of jacked up. But then we eat cows, we eat pigs. So then I start going down this process where I'm digging into my own hypocrisies of, well, Brian, what makes a horse better than a cow? You know, like why do I care about these 2-year-old horses versus a 2-year-old cow? They're both animals. They both deserve whatever freedoms that, you know,
I actually liked cows better as a kid because we used to have to clean up after horses and we didn't have to clean up after the cows. The cows just shit in the field, you leave it. The horses, for some reason, they got to walk around and pick it all up.
Yeah, you don't. Well, because they're like kind of snooty. It's like a snooty animal.
No, we don't want them walking on their own poop, even though they're already wearing horseshoes.
No, but that's interesting to me because then I start thinking to myself, like, well, what makes chickens any less valuable as, you know, their lives any less valuable than horses? So then you start to think to yourself, like, man, am I just really, am I going to be arbitrary about what animals, like put animals on a ranking system of what animals I care more about than others? That just seems like so arbitrary and ridiculous. Or am I just going to say, hey, man, I don't support you eating a 2-year-old horse after it fails. And I also don't support you eating a 2-year-old cow or a 6-month-old pig. I mean, because that's when pigs got like mature to the point at which they eat them. But then again, we grew up on a farm. We butchered animals.
We've seen how
at times.
these things work. But we also like those were animals that we raised them really good before we killed. They had a real good before we killed them.
Is that even better?
I've been eating a lot less meat in general lately, just because I had to cut a bunch of it out for post chemo stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not post chemo, but to try and not get cancer again, basically. But then now it's like, then I look into like, okay, so I was not eating it because like all these things that they get into meats like are bad for your colon. And then I started like, okay, so I'm just eating turkey and chicken. And then I started looking up turkey and chicken. I'm like, this is not much better. This is also really bad.
And then it's like, it does free range even matter? Do I want like a turkey that was like galloping through a field as turkeys do, just living their best turkey life, you know, thinking of what they're gonna do.
He's like, gobble gobble, God, I got it.
And then bam, and then then you see the specials where they have all the turkeys in like the barn they're stacked on top of each other. So at this point, I don't know if I could. It's like I either got to go full vegetarian and then just not support meat at all, or just,
you can eat. Can we eat fish? Can we all agree that fish don't really think?
I don't know.
That fish don't have, like, if anything, they're like scaly, slimy insects of the sea. Like, they're not
like crab and fish. That's the only, because you just don't believe that they have any feelings.
I mean, I've looked into the eye of a fish,
I have too, man.
and I didn't see much going on.
I remember one time.
I don't know if you could teach a fish to be your friend. Listen, dolphins, different. Dolphins are different. Dolphins look like they have feelings, and like you can teach them things. And like, I think if you can teach an animal, now we're down a wormhole. If you can't teach it, if it's too stupid, you can eat it.
But here, that's not even true though, because you can train fish and sea creatures. Because when I went to the Atlanta Aquarium, they would train these giant manta rays and these different types of rays and these sharks. They'd train them to eat at different times in different areas in the giant aquarium they have, in that giant sea exhibit they have.
I think that's
where
more...
but they'd train them to swim up.
That's like using instincts, I think, more than like, because they got to eat. And
yeah,
they
but
know,
they're
like,
going to eat in a specific place.
Instinctively, they know, like, in the fall, I can eat over here because the barnacles are really good.
No,
and over
hold
here
on.
in the winter, I can eat because the crabs are popping.
In a specific order, though. Like some of these giant rays in the aquarium, well, they know the order that they eat in. So one homeboy eats first. He does like 5 laps, then and like comes through and opens his mouth, and they like dump fish in, and then it's the next ray's turn. So like that's a level of cognition that I'm
Fine.
like, well, I
right.
don't know, man. Maybe fish aren't idiots.
So only the small, dumb ones.
Like salmon?
I mean, yeah, I don't think you can teach a salmon to do anything. It's like a fly. They just kind of do.
They do look pretty stupid when you, like, when they're, like, they have the same look on their face when they're swimming and alive as when they're cooked on your plate. Like,
yeah,
there's no expression change. They're just big old googly eyes. Guys, someone knows the answer to this. Do fish have feelings? At Moote Points or at Pat Moot on Twitter. Do fish have feelings? And are fish and racehorses the same?
We're not, and we're talking about like fish. Like, I don't think sharks or like manta rays or manatees or whales.
Well, manatees
or
are like
dolphins.
a seal.
Kinda.
A giant seal.
Aren't they? But don't they have flippers at the? I guess seals have flippers.
Seals have flippers too. So do penguins and all sorts. No, I'm actually struggling with my opinions on how we treat 2-year-old baby horses and how we treat animals that I'm totally fine picking up in the sandwich meats aisle. So I'm conflicted, guys. I don't know which way to go.
Help Brian with his confliction. Well, after tomorrow, you may not have a choice. You may be like, you're awful.
I forgot about that. That I might have some colon problems.
Yeah.
So think positive thoughts for me. I would say thoughts and prayers. But there's better thing. If you pray, if you're into that, there's way better things to pray for than my colon photos.
Pray for Brian's colon.
No, don't do that. If you are religious and that is a thing that matters to you, pray for like bigger. Pray for let's see. You know what I would say right now? Pray for the. It's
gonna be
pray
funny.
for the resolution of the Mueller report, and we could just put this whole thing.
I was gonna say the environment because I saw something that came out this week that like we're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, no, I read a report too that I think it was Leonardo DiCaprio, so it might have been a little biased because I know he loves the Earth, but basically like the wildlife on this planet has never had it worse than right now.
Yeah, it was like there's the risk of like
bad.
1 million species being extinct in the next like 12 years.
Well, the rate we're going with all the ways that we preserve meats and eat poorly, we're trying to extinct ourselves.
I know. I bet the animals are like, man, I hope this colon cancer thing catches on.
Jeez. Yeah, you keep eating us and you see what happens. We'll get our revenge eventually. We'll be back on Thursday. I'll let you know colon cancer follow-up.
We love you, Brian. And I'm proud of you, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yep. Save the whales.
Save the buttholes.
And the horses.
And the buttholes.
And the butts. Check your butt.
Check your butt.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on... No, not that one. Ah, yes, that's the one. You have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is also known as the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Click for more.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.